Welcome to the audio blog by Mentor Dolores. Volume is not an excuse. Why every candidate deserves a response. Somewhere along the way, we received too many applications, became an unaccepted reason for treating people like they don't matter. I understand the math. A popular role can pull in hundreds, sometimes thousands of applications, but volume explains a bottleneck. It doesn't excuse silence, and it definitely doesn't excuse disrespect. I want to make the case for something simple. Communication with candidates isn't a nice to have extra, it's the actual job. The applicant is never just a number. Every single application in that pile of 500 represents a real decision someone made. They set aside time. They thought about how to present themselves. Many of them turned down other things to prioritize your process, a networking event, another application, a Saturday. When a company goes silent, it's not just an operational gap. It's telling that person their time and hope didn't warrant 30 seconds of a reply, automated or otherwise. That message lands. People remember which companies ghosted them. They tell their friends. They talk about it online. In a job market where candidates increasingly are the customers a company will one day need to sell to, hire back, or work alongside in a different role, treating people as disposable during recruitment isn't just unkind, it's short sighted. Respect doesn't require infinite time, it requires intention. No one is asking recruiters to handwrite a personal note to every applicant. Respect at scale looks different than respect one on one, and that's fine. What it actually requires is a system that closes the loop. Even a templated, we've moved forward with other candidates, is worlds better than nothing. Silence isn't neutral, it's a choice, even when it doesn't feel like one. Honest timelines. If it will take 3 weeks to review applications, say 3 weeks. Candidates can plan around honesty. They can't plan around a black box. Clarity about where someone stands. People don't need an essay. They need to know, are you still in the running or not? None of this requires more headcount. It requires deciding at the leadership level that candidate communication is a real part of the process, not the part that gets cut when things get busy. The volume argument gets the casualty backwards. Here's the uncomfortable truth. A lot of the volume problem is self inflicted. Vague job postings attract mismatched applicants. Long, opaque processes push people to apply to more roles just to hedge their bets, which floods every company's pipeline further. Ghost jobs and reused postings train candidates to overapply because they've learned that silence is a default outcome regardless of fit. Fix the clarity and honesty upstream, and the volume downstream often becomes far more manageable. In other words, the chaos recruiters are drowning in is in part a system candidates learn to survive by applying everywhere and hoping something sticks. Better communication isn't just kinder, it's a genuine fix for the overwhelm itself. What this actually costs a company to ignore. Poor candidate communication isn't a soft, feel good issue. It shows up in employer brand damage that follows a company into future hiring cycles when today's ignored candidate is tomorrow's target hire or their brother or their mentee. Lost boomerang candidates. People who might have reapplied for a better fit role later but won't bother after being ghosted once. Weaker offer acceptance rates. Because candidates who felt disrespected during the process assume the disrespect continues after the offer letter. A quietly worsening reputation among the exact high caliber talent a company most wants to attract, who talk to each other more than recruiting teams often realize. The standard I'd ask every company to hold itself to. If a candidate gave you their time, their effort, and their hope, the least a company can do is to close the loop clearly, honestly, and on a timeline they were told to expect. That's not a lofty ideal. It's a basic professional courtesy that somehow became optional. Volume is real, pressure is real, but neither of those are reasons to forget that on the other end of every application is a person quietly checking their inbox, wondering if they matter enough for a reply. They do. Treat them like it. Looking for practical ways to put this into action? I've put together two free downloadable guides, one for candidates on how to communicate their expectations clearly, and one for recruiters on building respect and responsiveness into their process no matter the volume.